All right, we're going to do a walkthrough on the song organizer um, program, or we're going to start with some of that example code. And part as part of that, we're going to discuss old school debugging, you know, essentially using Echo and Xdebug. I'll show you kind of how that works in case you've been trying to get it working. And yeah, so we're going to start on the song organizer uh, program. And just so you guys know, I'm going to go in here and just get my folder up for www. And it looks like let's get rid of that one. I'm going to create a project in here that we will use and get that running first, and this will be a good review for you on bringing in other code to get working within your own WOMP server. My WOMP server is running, so I'm going to begin with NetBeans. Now I do have the song organizer starting code here, and we're going to implement that within our project as soon as we get it live on the server. I think this time let's just see kind of how things go here. Sometimes I like to put it locally and then push it over to the server. Sometimes that works good. Sometimes I like to just create it right on the server. It's up to you. Let's try to create it right on the server today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new project, of course, and then we're going with PHP with existing sources because we don't want a lot of junk. And then we're going to leave this empty. And scratch that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder that is for existing sources, and where I want that is on the server itself. So I'm going to go here to Explorer, go to my www. That's not it. I'm getting there. There we go. Go to my www, and I'm going to create a folder. You know what? I'm going to use this guy called eval. I'm going to use this eval folder just because, whatever. You call it song organizer, whatever you want. And that's going to be my folder for existing sources, but I'm going to be adding the sources later, here shortly. So I'm just going to choose that eval folder, and I'm just throwing it right on the server. This is kind of a new way of development that people now kind of go with, is to develop right on the server. The whole lift and shift, meaning develop it off the server and then shift it over to the server method, has kind of lost some disfavor. Interesting enough, because we were taught, never to let things go live unless it was good. So now it's like, oh no, just develop right on the server now. It's like, oh my goodness. And that's just because it's faster and also integrated, so that problems that you have, are able to be found fairly easily. Okay, you know what I'm going to do here is this index file. I'm going to leave this blank until later. We're going to come back in and fix that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this folder. Okay, here is my project. I have the eval folder. Now what I'm going to do is, there's my NB project folder. I'm going to put my code, my example code, or my starting code with that, and that is this song organizer.php file. Now, since this is a sticky web form, or a sticky form, meaning you both post and receive the same the same actions as far as when you click the submit button. This form is both for getting the data from you and putting the data and doing something with the data. So this is what we call a sticky form. It's kind of hard to work with those. People get confused often of kind of what's going on, and that's kind of what I'm going to be working on today, is to kind of get beyond some of that confusion while we're debugging and kind of looking at it and seeing just exactly what's going on. So I'm going to throw that right in here. Here's my song organizer starting code. Okay, then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say properties, and this is all good, but the run configuration, I want to set the index file properly to songorganizer.php, because that's both my starting point and after we submit something, with the sticky form, the sticky behavior of the form. So now I'm ready to really get into this and play around. Let me zoom in on this stuff for you here. Oh Lord, it's not zooming in on me. All right, well, let's just test it out first. We're going to go with Chrome, and let's just hit play and see if we got something. Okay, so I notice here right off the bat that this is running correctly within the folder that I'm using. It started up songorganizer.php right on the website, but it knows to set it up as localhost. So I'm live. I'm ready to go with this thing, and I'm going to just minimize that for now and zoom in on this for you guys. Let's just do a quick search, NetBeans zoom, just so I'm not giving you a headache looking at this stuff. Well, let's just Google it real quick with YouTube it, because I always forget this stuff. I mean, really, this stuff is, it's great to have little. Okay, yeah, of course. Okay, so it's gonna talk a bunch of crap, and then here we go.
উপর দিকে ঘোরালে দেখতে পারবো দিকে ঘোরাবো, উপর দিকে ঘোরালে দেখতে পারবো যে এবং এই যে মাউসটা আছে, মাউসের যে স্ক্রলটা আছে, এটা উপর দিকে ঘোরাবো, উপর দিকে ঘোরালে দেখতে পারবো যে জুম ইন হচ্ছে।
Epic fail, guys. Epic fail on how to zoom in NetBeans. Maybe ChatGPT might be able to be better than YouTube. Oh, interesting music. We don't need that. Oh, editor zoom. Hold on. We need a plugin for that? Alright, guys. Looks like I am going to go get that editor zoom plugin. And what I'm going to do is type in editor zoom. Total fail. ChatGPT, here we go. You know what? I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. I'll be back. Alright, that silliness is over with. Thank goodness. I went in and got it done through the editor. So that should be good enough for you guys to see. So my first thing here is, hey, is there something wrong with this? If it's not behaving correctly, what's wrong with it? And what am I going to do to get it working? Well, duh, let's test it out first and see what's going on. Okay, so here we are, 6.1. Let's try to do the very simplest of tasks. Let's add something to the song list. And we get an error. And the error is a failed to open stream on line 53. So what it's saying is, hey, we can't open up this file. It doesn't exist. Well, I can also go in here and just test with printouts exactly where is this code happening that's dying. So this is using query strings for information to get information. So we're using the get tag and then the action. So you may want to just do things like echo and then just echo this whole thing out to see what's going on, to see what you're getting. You know, are we getting anything there? Where are we going? Are we getting to this point by just echo, you know, hello, that sort of thing. And if we get there, then where is it that we're dying? So then I would run this again, Control S, and refresh. So we got definitely an echo problem. Line 15, it does not like, oh, duh. I'm being silly. I'm being silly. Okay. Here we go. Refresh. All right, there we go. Hello, there are no songs on the list, so we're getting there. We're getting here. It's not printing anything here, which is what I would expect because I haven't submitted anything yet. So let's try a submission. Okay, and it didn't print anything there. So hey, but we are getting there. Then it's like, well, okay, well, where is this error happening? And it really comes down to let's clean up this mess. I mean, I could barely tell what's going on here with the way this code is indented. So that's going to be my first thing to do, is I'm just going to make this so that I can for sure know exactly what's going on here. And what if statement, what goes with what. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to go, oh, that goes there. So then I'm going to take all this code and I'm going to indent it properly. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, okay, that's good, 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 good. This looks all right. This is indented properly for this case. Oh, here we go. Here's some nastiness. Let's clean this up. And then let's indent this stuff right here. Looks like that needs to be indented. And this and that. But this one needs to be indented here. So seriously, this cleans up so much with the ability for you guys to just figure out what the hell is going on. I mean, you know, it's kind of the very minimum of you know, getting things working. And so like right here, for instance, what's this guy doing here? Where does it come from? And then we realize, oh, it's that guy, so it actually needs to be out there. So we know what scope we're working in. Oh, this guy doesn't belong there. It belongs to this guy. So much more clarity is given to us just by doing this. Break down the code that you're working with and that you're examining so that the indents make sense. And then we can kind of look at what's going on with it. Now I'm going to go into here and I'm going to fix this one because this looks like a gigantic turd, you know, seriously. Okay, now, oh, okay, so that one goes with that one. So I'm going to take all these guys and I'm going to tab them in. There. Now this goes, these guys go with this guy, so these need to be tabbed back. So I'm going to use this little thing to tab them back, right up here. This looks like it's tabbed correctly. This definitely is not tabbed correctly. It looks like a stink. These are not tabbed correctly. Okay, and then, okay, this one is not done correctly at all, and it looks like a nightmare. Oh my God, what a mess. That one's got to match that one. Yes, it does. Okay, let's tab this in like it should be. So we're going to have this just gigantic piece of stink. All right, here we go. You know, this one, oh, see, look at that. I mean, I can barely make sense of this. Here we go. All right. Now we're getting a little more clarity. Here we go. There we go. All right. Now I know what's going on. All right. Here's our next one. What does this match up with? It's in that same scope. So we're going to keep it here. And then this stuff needs to be tabbed in. And then that looks like it needs to match that guy. This needs to be tabbed in. That needs to be tabbed in. There we go. There we go. And then, okay, things are looking a little bit better for me. All right, now that I made all those changes, let's just test it. Let's just see that it's, you know, got its same configure. Okay, that looks all right. So I'm going to add a song to the song list. Good. Okay, so we're having a problem here. Well, where is here? So there's something going on here, and evidently from this print, we have no information coming when the form initially loads. You know, hey, so that means that we're not even getting here. And I can just put that in here and say, hey, are we getting to that hello? And test it and see if it prints out that hello. And it doesn't. So that means that that if statement's not even working, which makes sense because that if statement is dependent on an action being available to actually do something. And what is that action? Well, it's when something is sent in as in as data in the query string part of the URL when you post. And so that means that since this is a sticky form, we're not going to immediately begin reading information because we're just going to load up in default and say, hey, give me information. Unless we find out that there's a file that has the songs we need to read in to show default. So then that means, okay, well, what's going on here? Well, this if statement is definitely not running. What if this one is running? Let's do this. Let's do echo. And let's do this whole thing. Okay, and then let's make sure that we're doing echo hello, just to see if we get there. And I'm pretty sure we do. Then I'm going to go down here to this other if statement because it looks like all these if statements are in scope. This looks like this if statement only runs if we have something in some data that we've submitted in the query string. This if statement only runs if we've hit the submit button. So if we've hit the submit button, then we have not sent data to the query string. We've just hit the submit button. Now down here, that is only going to run if we have a file that works. So let's see if we got here, if we get here to, and I'm going to put in file. And I'm just going to hit save, and I'm going to run it. Okay, now I'm going to, okay, hello file. What does that mean? That means that this if statement was looked at. This if statement was looked at because the runtime got here. The runtime got here. We already decided that this if statement is not run. So then let's look at this and let's say, okay, what is going to get this statement, this guy to run, and then let's print something when we do get it to run. So this is kind of just old style debugging without Xdebug. And the way you do it is just to directly print what you're looking at. Just echo it and see what value it is. So we may use the sticky behavior and load the form again after we submit something, and then some data will be in the submit post, the query string, and we'll be able to get information out of it. And that will show that we're actually, hey, we posted something, now I want to do the next set of instructions that I need. And then also it means I got down to here. So then that means, okay, well, let's see if I can get into this code at all. And it looks like I'm going to just echo it here to make sure that I can get into this part of the code. So now I'm going to test which if statements that I'm going to be going into. And I'm going to test this one too. Because this is for when an action happens. Okay? All right. Let's run this and see what's going on. Okay, so we've gotten to hello file. Well, no, this is an old version of it. Okay, let's do this. All right, so none of those if statements have flagged. Okay, let's do this. Oh, we got one hello. Where's that coming from? It's not here. We got into here. And it output 1, meaning that there's actually a submit argument on there. Okay. Well, then what's wrong? Well, it's getting here. Okay, well, let's go down here. Let's see how far it's getting. Let's see where it's getting. Is it getting to there? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Is it getting to here? Because we want the file to exist, because that's where we're storing our songs. Is it getting there? No, there's no hello output. Oh! I've been looking at this the whole time. What is it saying there? There is no failed to open the file songs.txt in the song organizer folder. Let's look into our folder. We got it on the WAMP server. Oh, I'm like going in this wrong spot here, being a silly goose. Okay, eval, that's what it was. All right. There is no song organizer, and this is the directory that the executable, the interpreter, is running in. So it's looking for song organizer and songs.txt. Isn't that what it's looking for? Well, yeah, it's not there. Oops. All right, well, maybe we should do something about that. Now, I could change the code around, or I can just look at the code and say, hey, we need to have a song organizer folder with songs.txt into it. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to say new folder, song organizer. And let's go here and let's say new text document, songs. Okay, we got a file for you. Whoop-de-doo. All right, so that means then that when I submit something, it should look for that file. If it exists, then it's going to grab information from it that is the songs that are previously stored there. This won't happen because we don't have anything in there, but this will print. This will happen, but nothing will be stored in there. However, it will check to see if any of the songs already exist. If the song doesn't already exist, after it's loaded the existing songs, it's going to append the new song that you submitted with that submit statement when you click the button. So now I'm just saying, hey, does it get here? And let's make this hello's good. You know, I can put hello file. That's fine. Control S. All right, let's test this. Oh my, look at that. Your song has been added to the list. Let's look at the songs.txt. It's there. It's working. Okay. Yeah, so that's the method, guys. When you're debugging, don't be afraid to print things just like that to determine, hey, what's going on here? What, you know, this actually ended up happening. We opened the file, we put the song. So this whole if statement is just when you hit that submit button. All of this just handles right there, all the way through here, just handles for when you submit a new song. So then, okay, Mr. B, what else is going on here? All right, well, this whole if statement only works if there are songs currently in the file that we open. It'll say there's no songs on the list, but if there are songs in the list, it's going to print the song. So let's go ahead and run that. There it is, right there. That worked. Cool. Now, let's look up here. So what's this if statement for? This first one right here, get action. Well, that is the query string part. That is when you submit or when you click on one of these. Okay, so that is, you see right here, song organizer.php. We may have to change that. But the action we're going to say is sort space ascending. That's what that %20 is. Sort space ascending. That is the command. And then here's another command, remove space duplicates. And then there's another command, shuffle. And that's going to be an action command that comes through the query string. So we're going to use these links to send the data to our PHP script. After it's loaded, being a sticky form and reloading itself with new information, which is what that query string does. Now let's look at that behavior real quick. Because in action should be printing if we click on those particular links that will send data to the script itself. So I can say sort song list, and it should have a question mark here with the data. There it is right there. Action sort ascending. All right, but look at this. In action. That means we got there. But what is the problem here? What the heck? It's the file again. Oh my God. Jeez. So then we know, hey, it gets here. And then I would print, hey, does it get here? You know, does it get there? Because it knows that it needs to make a decision, but it needs to open up a file first. And before it makes those decisions based on the data in the array that you send it through the query string, like sort space, what is it? Sort space, ascending. So that's what this does, is it looks at the data, but before it looks at the data, it's loading the song file. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, this is stupid, silly, easy. Look at that. That doesn't match where I put the file. So let's see if this actually works now. Seems pretty easy. Okay, so we got a little bit of an issue here. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to, woo, it doesn't like me. It really doesn't like me. So let's do a Control Z here. And let's see. Okay, so I broke it somehow. I don't know how. Let's go ahead and put our print back, because what we're testing is to see. Oh, because I put it stupidly right into the switch, didn't I? That's why. We're going to test the sort ascending. And I just want to see, hey, are we here? Did we get here? Does this happen? So I'm going to run it again after I save it. And I'm going to click on sort. Well, let's add another one. All right. Now I'm going to click on sort. Okay. Whoa. Okay. We got there. We have an error. Hello. Oh, we got into the switch statement. Line 30 threw an error. Line 23, no such file or directory. Organizer.some. Oh my goodness. Where did that come from? Oh, I forgot to change it. Geez, this thing is just driving me nuts. Maybe I forgot to hit S, Control S. I forgot to save it. Okay, so this actually never got to. So now I fixed this. Yet again, let's sort song list. Oh my goodness, look at that. Hello, and it sorted it. Okay, so this is how you break down and work with code, debugging, and just kind of the old school Echo way by moving along, printing actual values that you're making control structure decisions on, like that. Looking into deeply into what's going on with just your runtime, and also looking at crap, just looking at stuff and making sure that everything's kind of nice and neat so you can see what's going on, what's happening, and then start testing and determine where the problems are. In this case, it was simply I was looking in the wrong. I didn't have the file ready to be opened, and it's a sticky form that depends on that file to exist and be able to open, so that it can show you what songs are on the file itself, or in the file itself. Now, that takes us into another thing, which is called Xdebug. This is a debugger. Now, here's the deal, guys. It took me 12 hours to get Xdebug working on this machine. I'm going to demo it real quick for you. So this really is a personal journey depending on your own configuration and your own setup It depends heavily on what you've installed and in what order, if you've done correct order of installation, and straight up brute force, and eventually I was able to get it to work. It's going to probably take as much effort for you to implement it within your own development environment. And there's lots of information out there on how to do it. So I'm going to demo it, because a lot of times students actually get it to work, but they don't know that it's actually working. So let's actually demo kind of what I'm talking about. Let's say that I want to set a breakpoint right here. And then what I want to do is I want to debug it with Xdebug, because I've attached that debugger, Xdebug, to it. Okay, so it brings up Xdebug, and it's just sitting here loading, and I'm thinking, well, why isn't this stupid thing working? Why isn't it working? Damn it, damn it, damn it. It is. It's pausing and waiting for you to tell it to move up in a line here. So it stopped here. See, right there. It started at the beginning of your file. Evidently, the breakpoint doesn't matter. So what I can do then is to examine this. I can set a breakpoint and do continue, or I can do step over and examine what's going on here. I can add a watch here for this. New watch. Say, okay, well, what's going on there? It has nothing. This has nothing in it, which makes sense because I haven't hit the button. Submit. So then what are we going to go here? Does this have anything in it? I can add a watch there for that. That has nothing in it. Okay, I can step over and say, okay, well, hey, am I able to find the file? Let's add a watch for this whole expression. Is it true or false? Is it going to evaluate? Let's see what happens. It doesn't look like it liked me, so maybe just go with this. Just do a watch on that. Still not liking me. So I guess there's oh, that's because I did that wrong. I should add a watch just to that part. Let's see if we can do that. All right, well, it looks like possibly Xdebug has some limitations to it. We can parse through for runtime and look at what's going on. That's very helpful. And then, get a little bit more, an easier way of figuring out what's actually happening in the code. All right, guys. That's kind of everything I wanted to cover for this video. It's up to you guys to get it working and showing your screenshots of it working and continuing the effort from here, removing duplicate songs, randomizing the song list, etc. Alrighty, make sure you create your text file. Alrighty, bye-bye.